Oh, no, Jordan Love. Not looking good, Pat. Not looking good. What's up,
No,
everyone?
sir.
Thank you for joining us, and welcome to Elite Fantasy Nation Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Denis. You can follow me at Fantasy Matt EFN, as you can see below. That is my boy. Damn it. That is my boy, Pat Wendelken. You can follow him at CityStars136. Also follow and like us at Elite Fantasy Nation. Down below, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button if I could talk, and the like button. Also follow us on Instagram, which formerly known as Instagram is the X, at Elite Fantasy N. What is up, man? Wow. Two crazy games that were defined and decided within like the last drives of both of them. A lot of points scored, a lot of surprises that we'll talk through. But damn, man, the NFL did it right. Two great games. Unfortunately, the last one did not look good as far as how it ended for one Jordan Love. So why don't we just jump right into it? This week, we're going to talk about the two games that just happened. We'll talk about surprises, kind of things that we're shocked about, things that, guys that were, we said not to overact, but just to maybe pay attention to. Hopefully they'll rebound because there definitely were some duds that we were not expecting. And then we'll jump into the rest of this week's slates, and we'll kind of talk about the games that are coming up on Sunday, which is tomorrow. We're recording this Saturday. And we'll break down, start and sit for those. But Pat, why don't you start off with the news?
All right. So since you touched on it immediately,
We got to talk about it, man.
Literally
this is a game
seconds
changer.
left in the game. Like we're almost done. You're almost wrapping it up, and down goes Love.
He's trying to go for the game-winning drive. Game-winning drive. Down goes
It was like literally under 10 seconds. Literally was like quick.
Yeah, I think it was like
the end.
8 seconds, I think was were left.
And then they kind of got rolled up on a little bit. It was like two people were taking them down, it looked like, at the same time.
If you look at it quick, it kind of looked malicious, the guy who was on the ground that was pulling him, but you can tell he obviously was just trying to pull him down to the ground and get him down. It wasn't anything that looked intentional. It was just an angle. It just looked like it was the angle, looked really bad, and he was writhing around in pain afterwards. It did not look good.
So I sent Matt you the video, and you saw the zoom, the close-up, and it looks like it's his knee. Everyone's saying ankle, but when you see the close-up, you can see something either pop or dislocate or something clicks out of position or something, and you could tell it was immediate pain, like you said. Then I saw the video of him flying, coming off the plane, coming down like the big stairwell. Yeah, he was like hobbling the whole way down.
Yeah, we're gonna not speculate. We're not doctors, but Pat did send me a video as a close up of the actual kind of lower leg, and it looked like in the video that his kneecap or something popped in one side. Again, not speculating that it is anything, but he was in a great deal of pain, and even the ankle specifically. If you look at the video, his ankle is like basically at a 90-degree angle, so it could be a whole bunch of different things. I did read this morning that they were saying that initial reports were that the ACL was intact by the doctors. They can obviously do some immediate tests right then and there and feel if the ACL is still in place. They said it felt like it was intact. So knock on wood. Hopefully it is. I mean, he'll be out for a couple of weeks minimum with just how bad that injury looked. And again, to your point today, if him arriving back and still hobbling and it looked like he was in discomfort and pain. So I would expect him out for some time at least, but hopefully we'll find out more on Monday when they do the MRI or later on today. Not sure exactly when they're going to do that with him, but yeah, more to come.
Yeah,
but it's a shame. It's a shame for that team because there was a lot of speculation of how good they could be this year. I've even had some people saying that they could possibly go to the NFC Championship. Like that's kind of just what they're thinking of how good the team is and how good Jordan Love looked last year. So, it sucks, man. I mean, being here in Wisconsin, it was definitely, we were watching the game last night and it did not look good. So
sucks, man. Yeah, that's all right. See what happens. We don't know.
It's football yet. So. It's football, man. So
yeah, and it was a great game. Next on the list, T. Higgins is out. They said doubtful, but I got mad reports. He is out for tomorrow's game. That's a big one. And it's funny between him and Jamar being like his own game time decision. T. Higgins out, the line dropped 3 points. It was at 9.5, 6.5 already. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, just little by little, chopping away at them. So that goes into the Jamar saga. He said that
Happy Pat's coming back. Pat's coming back because he's got his Bengals playing tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, bro, he needs to play. He's like, he said that whole Penny thing was BS. He wants more. He wants to blow out JJ's contract.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear that part.
I saw I watched a lot of the Bengal reporters, and he was in the locker room. He was like, He's like, I want to blow that shit out of the water. He told him, I don't want 1 penny over. I want way over. So he was like, let's get that straight. And that was that. So after that, everyone's like, oh.
Good luck to the Bengals.
Yeah, okay. Well, good luck is for sure. So, Jamar's a 50-50. And then the other like significant news for tomorrow that my Steeler fans will be watching, Wilson is out. Fields is in now.
Yep. No, I saw that. They called that yesterday pretty much. So,
yep. So,
yeah, so if you got Justin Fields, that's something to think about. So he did not look good in preseason, but I mean, again, he could be running the ball quite a bit. You never know with those legs on that motor what he could do. So Russell Wilson, who basically got booted from Denver, comes to Pittsburgh, thinks he's the shit. Didn't even basically had an injury, whatever it was during the whole preseason. Didn't really practice or play until towards the end of the preseason. Then got 1 game in, and now is hurt again. So whatever the hell is going on with Russell Wilson, maybe he's just trying to milk it for a paycheck.
Who knows? But he's sitting the bench. He's riding the bench. There you go.
He's gonna be cheerleading. So, hell yeah.
That's really it for the news. But we can like we were saying, we got a lot of other things. I mean, two phenomenal games back to back, Thursday and Friday. The NFL did it right this year, bro.
Finally, dude. Usually these primetime games, there's always something going on where it's like they're not a doozy. Last year it was supposed to be a good game with Kansas City. They got blown out. They look like,
I remember that.
Absolutely versus Detroit. Remember it was like what happened in Kansas City. Egg. Like everybody started panicking, and that was also when I believe Kelsey was also injured or came into the game injured, so didn't really play that much. He played like sporadically a couple of things. Or no, he was out the whole game. That's right. Kelsey was out the whole game. Game went really bad. Kansas City looked like dog trash. And then you go to this year, fast forward this year, and you have 2 games that are literally decided with the last drive. You have Baltimore in Kansas City, at Kansas City, and Lamar going for the game-winning drive, throws a pass, wide receiver's toe goes out of bounds before he actually catches it and completes it. End of the game. There it is, by a toe. And then you've got last night.
Was that likely? Or
it was likely. No, it was likely. It was likely.
Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering because they said he had. If they were saying in like a thing, they're like, well, if your cleats were white, you may have gotten it. They were teasing it. Like I heard.
Oh yeah, because he had black cleats. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made it very easy to see because he got the white chalk line and then he got the black cleat going over the white chalk line. Yeah, Isaiah, like this. Let's just jump in and we'll jump into Ravens and Chiefs, man. So. Big surprises. So let's talk about that, Pat. There are some duds. Let's talk about the duds first, man. So you hit on a couple first, and we'll kind of go back and forth from there. So pick out like your biggest. And again, this is week 1. We want to reiterate that to everybody. Week 1, do not hit the panic button. As is all last year, things happen, and then everything can change. Where do you want to start? I'll let you jump in.
Let's go to Mark Andrews.
All right,
where was Mark Andrews? Like it was just like when I saw his 1 target and I watched it, I was like, it was like nothing. So he had basically like 2 receptions for 14 yards. They put that's it.
Wait, but so that's more than 1 target then. That's more than 1 target.
Yeah, I know, but that's what it said even online. I was like, weird. I'm like, why does it say that? But I swear to God, that's what this morning when I was checking, I'm like, does that make any sense? But I'm gonna say it was 2 or it was just a solid 1. I'll double checking it right now. Crazy.
Yeah, it says 2. It says 2. Two targets, so 2 receptions. So 2 targets, 2 receptions, whopping 14 yards. Mark Andrews.
Like, dude, big hype, getting drafted super high like usual because he's a supreme tight end.
Yeah, he's Mark Andrews in that offense. I mean,
come on, man.
I
was shocked.
So that shocked me, but then I was listening to it, and I'd have to go back and look at the all 22s. They were saying he basically double covered on every pass play. So that's the reason why, and that's also going back to, and we'll talk about the winner because of this. That's the reason why likely got the amount of yards, targets, and everything that he got was because Andrews is being double covered, so likely was open, and they're just basically utilizing that, capitalizing on that. So, but yeah, I mean, still a big surprise. Obviously, Kansas City had a game plan that they wanted to make sure they limited Andrews because, if you think about that offense, Andrews is pretty much that offense. Somebody else came out of that offense as a stronger target, and as a likely, but at the end of the day, even Zay Flowers didn't really get that much leg room, but they did a good job. But yeah, it's a disappointment. But 14 yards, you can't have that, dude. I mean, even in a full PPR, that's 3.4 points. Like that is nothing. It would have helped if he had got a touchdown. He didn't. But yeah, I mean, Mark Andrews, and even on the other side of the ball, you could even say Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce,
he's on there too. He didn't do much. He had 3 receptions for 34 yards. That's it.
yeah, off of 4 targets too. So it's like wasn't that great either. So yeah, I mean the 2 tight ends that were actually the primary tight ends, and Travis Kelce specifically, because last year he did not start out strong. He was injured first week, and then I think the next 2 weeks he kind of start out slow. We're hoping that they would hit the ground running. The rest of the team did. So the score was Baltimore Ravens was 20, Kansas City Chiefs was 27. So it was still a pretty high scoring game. 3 touchdowns almost by each team. It was just a shame to see the tight ends that we were expecting not to get any juice. But you know who I was most surprised on? That you talk about tight ends and you talk about Andrews being highly drafted. Bro, this boy got super high drafted in pretty much the first round at every redraft league that I know of. Derrick Henry. Henry coming into a new offense, showcasing, he's going to be the bell cow. They're going to finally have a running back. They're going to run the hell out of the ball. Well, they did run the hell out of the ball, but it wasn't always Derrick Henry who ran the ball. When Lamar basically kept stealing Derrick Henry's thunder, which is going to be, honestly, if you take anything away from it, that's probably going to be one of the biggest takeaways. Lamar Jackson had 16 carries for 122 yards. Derrick Henry had 13 carries for 46 yards and 1 touchdown. The touchdown saved him. Yeah. So luckily, if you had Henry, you at least got the touchdown. Pat and I were texting back and forth, and Henry, I think it was on the first drive, Henry got the touchdown, and we were like, yeah, there it is. Like,
it was great to look at. Yeah.
We rock it. Like, yeah, just like we all said, like, Derrick Henry is going to be a beast this year, and then he did nothing after that. I think he had another 20 yards.
It was crazy because even some of the play, he was just not in. Like, even like some of the game.
Yeah, they subbed him out.
I'm like, look, I know Justice Hill saw, he didn't really do anything either. I mean, it was Lamar, bro. He just took everything.
Hill had a lot of catches. Justice Hill was in there for the catching downs. So he had 6 receptions and 52 yards.
Yep. But my thing is this, though.
Sorry to cut you off.
We spoke about this too. It's okay. Lamar is thinner. He is quicker. But he's definitely not as big as what he was. You could tell he is slimmed out dramatically, bro.
He totally lost weight, and he talked about that, I guess, in the beginning of the season during the preseason with some reporters saying that like he intentionally lost weight. He thought he was winded sometimes last year, so he wanted to lose some weight so he could last the whole game. He could run more. He could do all that type of stuff. Well, he's smaller now, so it's like, and when you look at it, he looks. I mean, I don't have to look at his weight, but he looks, what do you just say, 30 to 40 pounds lighter? I mean, it's like,
it's noticeable.
It's like noticeable. It's not like a 5 or 10 pounds. Like you're talking like it's a very noticeable difference that he has drastically changed what he eats in his body. So can he hold up to that type of running? That's one of the questions. The second question is, Pat, is this going to continue? Like Derrick Henry, like why the hell did you bring in Derrick Henry if all you're going to do is utilize Lamar and running Lamar? Like what's the point of Derrick Henry then? Like, that was supposed to be the fucking point, dude. Like, you're bringing Derrick Henry to take the ball away from him.
There's no sustaining that because he'll get hurt. There's no way you have him running 100 yards a game and getting, like, that's hard to sustain at that pace because people are going to catch on to him. Listen, the game plan was like, he just checks down real quick and just goes. There is no.
Yeah.
It was very simple. Teams are going to catch on to that. There's no way
it was basically
all season do that.
It was like one look reads, and they're basically just like going back to college, his college days, where it was like either he handed it off or he's just gonna run it, or he just snapped and ran it, or he'd fake it like he's gonna pass really quickly, and then he just like tucked the ball down and ran. So it was very crazy. Quick, like one look reads and then go. But it was a lot, dude. I mean, 16 fucking carries for a quarterback, dude. Like those, and they weren't even like plays breaking down and him trying to run out. It was like, no, it was intentionally, like we said, the play was designed to do that. Which is even more curious. Like, if I'm Derrick Henry, I'm going like, what the fuck? Why am I even on this team, dude? Like, I could have been on any other team. Like, he thought he was going there to help them win. And it looked like he was like an afterthought in the offense. So,
yeah, like you said,
that was scary, dude.
Why? Like, I thought pretty much anyone else, all the analysts even said, it's like, to relieve a little bit of the pressure, like you don't have to do all the legwork. You have a monster right behind you that will. Yeah. He had a couple plays, Matt, and it looked great because he was laying people right back down. It's Henry, bro. Boom. Laying people right out and kept on. They chucks them straight over. You don't need to. Like he's the perfect option. Like it's if they're gonna have it where he's just a decoy, teams will catch on to it and they're like, oh, it's just gonna be a run go. Like they're gonna be like, this won't last forever. I cannot see teams not be like, all right, it's a one look read. He's running it. That's it. They'll catch on to it. They have to. I'm like,
you would hope.
No way.
You would hope so. Like I said, just because of Lamar's size and just utilizing Derrick Henry. I mean, so those are probably the three. I'd probably call them three biggest ones, right? The biggest like kind of doozies, Pat. Is there any that we missed that you feel like, if just from that game specifically, that we want to talk about before we go into the good surprises and kind of like the winners, where we're just like, wow, here we go, fucking wheels up. So
I think, agree with that. Those were like the main.
Those are the big ones.
Letdowns. But like we said, this is week one. This is where the overreactions are coming. I know someone that started Andrews and Kelsey did the two tight end thing, and it didn't work out at all. He was pissed. I'm like, dude, it's week one, bro. Relax, bro.
It's a 14-week season in fantasy until you get to the playoffs, and then after that, you've got 3 weeks after that. So this is 1 of 14. But you do want to. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing that, again, take your licks. Anything can happen. Even how they're using Lamar versus Derrick Henry, that could change. But that was probably, out of all three of the disappointments, that was the one that everybody should keep an eye on the most, because it looked like those were designed plays that they were purposely running Lamar and not running Derrick. So just something to keep on for the next game. Maybe they game plan it because it's Kansas City's defense. Kansas City's defense looked fucking phenomenal. The Baltimore Ravens offensive line did not look that great, honestly.
Which is maybe why Jones was breaking that line.
Oh my God, dude. Yesterday. They were like in the backfield, like every 2 seconds they're in the backfield. So maybe that was the intention to do it, to kind of keep them off their toes. So keep an eye on that. Let's go on to the good stuff, man. Let's talk about the fucking winners.
Oh, man. Plenty
All right, you take it away. So talk about, pick a couple if you want, however we want to do it, man. Let's just rip it.
This is the dude I'm hyping. I draft him in a few
I know
leagues.
You're talking about. I know you're talking about.
The X-Man, bro. Xavier Worthy, bro. Unbelievable how fast the speed showed. That one rush where he had one carry for 21 yards for that touchdown.
Dude, it's their first touchdown.
He was gone.
Dude.
Gone. Yeah. I'm like, I jumped up. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, here we go. I'm like, this is what it's about.
It's like he shot out a rocket, man. He's just like, there he goes.
I was rooting for him. Then he had 2 receptions for 47 yards and a touchdown. So he had 2 touchdowns, one carry, one running. I mean, how great is that? I mean, bro, looks phenomenal, bro.
You know what the thing is too? He currently is on pace to just smashing the rookie record for receiving touchdowns. So he has 2. Tyreek Hill has 9. I think that was the record, is 9. So if he can get 10 touchdowns, I mean, he already is 2. Not to say you're gonna duplicate this, but
yeah, of course.
They obviously knew that they wanted to get the ball in his hands. They knew that they wanted to use him as much of a weapon as they could, which is why they used him as running back. First run, like Pat said, was fucking gone, and then
there was no one. It looked like everyone's in slow motion. If you
it really did, yeah.
Most of you did. It was just like his legs were just like zipping across the screen. I'm like, look at this guy. I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, when the combine, when he ran and broke that record, I'm like, this is it. I said, that's
what people were expecting. Of course, yeah.
Yeah. So he carried it. So I'm gonna go on the other side of the ball for the other one.
Keep going, man.
And they likely had a phenomenal game. It went 9 receptions, 111 yards, 1 touchdown, and 12 targets.
And he should have had a second touchdown. We talked about this at the end. He should have another catch and another touchdown, except for his big toe stepped out of bounds at the end of the game.
Wear white cleats on the field. Yes. See what the field looks like, bro. Make sure
you know what's going to be funny is in next week, if he actually wears white cleats, that'd be funny just to see if actually he switches it up.
Or it could be a black, like a white toe, so he can get there you go. Have that little discrepancy. I think that's an overreaction too, bro. Let me tell you something. I think people are like, oh my God, like people were like, looked like the Flash going to the waiver wire running to grab him, which is fine, but you still have Mark Andrews there. I think this is a little bit of an overreaction the other way. He had a phenomenal game.
Yep.
But you can't expect that every game. Like, you know what I mean? This is a team where I think it's like going to be a lot of pick and choosing.
And even you go back to last year when Mark Andrews is injured, likely was a beast last year as well. So it's not like this is something new. It's not like they just found him. They were utilizing him last year. And I think what they realized last year was that how much of an offensive weapon he can be. He came out of Coastal Carolina, and actually had great metrics coming out. So the fact that when he went to Baltimore, it's like, oh, that could be, Andrews' replacement eventually. And then obviously Andrews is still going, but he is a massive offensive weapon. He's very quick, very fast. He's agile. He's a big tight end too. So it's not like he's like the smaller tight end. Like he's a big boy, but like plays like a wide receiver as far as like his athleticism and how quick he is and his like quick steps. Like he's really good, dude. So Isaiah Likely, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's not something that you have to run to the waiver wire and expect it like he's going to do this every week.
Yeah.
But it's something that you should definitely try to get and just to see. I mean, if Andrew just goes down again, any type of injuries to him.
Yeah, it's full go for him. There's no stopping it now.
Oh, and you can obviously
breaking
see
news. I got the breaking news, bro.
Oh shit. Go ahead.
It's an MCL sprain for Jordan Love. He tested it, and that's what the result is officially. So MCL sprain, Matt. What I'm going to say? 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
It depends on the degree of the sprain.
Yeah.
So anytime you have a sprain, it's a minor tear. So anytime you have like any type of strain or anything on your muscle, you actually have torn part of your muscle. Just like when you work out, you're actually tearing your muscles and they're rebuilding themselves.
Correct.
So
it really just weeks, you would say, right?
I would say probably 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks is what I'd probably say. I mean, they're probably going to be testing it along the way to see. I mean, it's great news for Green Bay. And thank you for interrupting me because I didn't see you were like.
Yeah, no,
I had something up. I was looking at something on the screen. You got to definitely interrupt on that one. That's great.
Yeah, bro, that literally just came in, so we're gonna put you on that.
Yeah, it's definitely something to keep tabs on. It just sucks for Green Bay and for fans of Green Bay. He's out at least. I would say at least 3 weeks, if not longer.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
They're going to want to make sure that it heals properly. They're not going to want to try to rush him back. He's their future. They just paid him. The last thing you want to do is like rush him back and make it worse. And he's a young guy, so you don't do any long-term damage. So
no.
Yeah. So forgot where we're at. But damn, at least it's not. It could be worse. I mean, that's probably the best news given the situation and given how bad he looked. And the fact that we did see something look like it popped in the video. So maybe it's just a weird angle from the video. I don't know. But good news. The best news you could possibly have. I'm going to go. So you did Xavier Worthy, and then we talked about Isaiah Likely. So what I was going to say is I would even grab him and have him Isaiah Likely. This is kind of where we're going. Just in case, even in redraft, just in case, doesn't hurt to have it. It looks like they're probably going to utilize him in 2 tight end sets now, given how productive he was and how good he was 2 nights ago, I guess. So definitely grab him, regardless of what league you're in, what type of league. If it's redraft, if it's dynasty, you should definitely have him if it's dynasty. I'm going to grab probably one of the best players in the whole entire game in Rashee Rice, man. So we talk about him, dude.
Solid.
I mean, seriously, the whole entire offseason with the suspension, was he going to get suspended? Was he not going to get suspended? Obviously did not get suspended, had a monster game. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 103 yards, no touchdowns. So he did not get that. But he crushed it, dude. Looked really good. Oh my God. He looked even announcers were like, wow, he looks better than he did last year. Like they're even commenting on like how explosive he looked when he had the ball in his hands. Definitely Patrick Mahomes' favorite target, besides Kelsey probably. And even then, I was listening to the broadcast, and afterwards I was listening to some analysis, and they're basically saying, with Rashee being so good, he might be the problem that Kelsey is not going to be as good this year because he will be taking targets away from him because he plays in the middle.
100%, man.
He plays in the middle. He looks like he's a quick release valve for Patrick Mahomes. And that could end up hurting Kelsey. So something to kind of monitor, like the two and how their targets go and kind of like how the ball is shared amongst that offense. So definitely something to keep in mind. One thing we didn't talk about, Pat, is actually Patrick Mahomes. He didn't have that great. He didn't have that great of a game. He was 20 of 28, 291 yards. He had a touchdown and 1 interception. From a fantasy standpoint, in a 4-point passing, he only had 16 points. Like, that's not a Patrick Mahomes day. Like that's for somebody who's picked first or second in a draft, that's not what you're expecting. You're wanting at least 20 to 25 points every week. So again, maybe just an off game with them. They still, won the game because the Baltimore mixed up at the end. But just something to kind of monitor. Why don't you hit on the last guy? Or we talked about him a little bit, but why don't you hit on Lamar, unless you got somebody else that you want to go through before we go to the next game?
Yeah, we could do Lamar. I mean, if we and you were talking during the game, and like Lamar's first half was shaky.
Oh, looked so bad. It looked so bad.
100%. We're just like, he looked all over. It just didn't look organized. He was just scrambling, throwing,
he didn't look comfortable.
Running. Yeah,
he just did not look comfortable. Yeah.
And can I make this out too? This whole illegal formation was a pain in the ass where they're making sure the line that everyone's lined
yeah.
up. You cannot be leaning back.
The offensive
It's
lineman.
like lean forward and you can't just jump back. But you know what's crazy? And I'm going to admit this. I don't care what anyone says. Dude, the Chiefs got away with way more than the Ravens because the Ravens, they were doing it and I saw it. And then the Chiefs were doing the same thing and they got to jump back and all of a sudden, no call. I'm like,
well,
what?
there's two things about it though. It's the jump back, but it's also the offensive lineman of where he's lined up. So a couple of times
It's got to be leaning forward. You has to.
No,
be
it's not even that. No,
too.
it's where your head is in relationship. It's not even leaning forward. It's like the whole bodies are far back. So like you have to be in line. It was with the waistband or the belt of the center. And a couple of them looked, and they basically their heads are basically like their helmet looked like they're barely touching the butt. Like if you look like drew a line,
yeah.
So like they were just like half a yard back from where they were supposed to be. So that's where like a lot of that was coming from. Because after they started calling, I was like, what the fuck? And I rewound it, and you could actually see where like they're like literally half a yard back from where they're supposed to be. And the ones who are doing it, you can see them distinctly because they don't line up with the rest of the offensive linemen. Like they're actually like
they stick out in the end like a sore thumb.
Yeah. You're like that guy's not lined up right. So, but then there was a lot of like pulling back early and or getting early jumps, and they called some, but not all. So yeah, it was a weird game, dude. A lot of things. So. Anything else you want to hit on this before we move on to
real quick? I'll just let it real quick. Lamar was 26 of 41, solid 273 in the air.
Ended good. He ended great.
Great. And then one touchdown, and then 122 on the ground. So his rushing made it what it was too. You know, he had a solid game, dude. There was no at first, like I said, the first half was shaky, but he definitely brought it back to where it should be. You know what I mean? Like that was where it was supposed to be. That's like a normal Lamar game. If you cancel out the first half, you're like, what? And then you look at the second half, you're like, what are you talking about? Like it was a bad game. No, the first game
in the rushing,
the first half was rough.
And the rushing, I think, is the biggest thing too. Like if you took out the rushing, like he would have had an okay game. Like not great, not horrible, but okay. You had the rushing in there, and it's like, damn, he crushed it. You know, so we'll see if that continues.
And not for nothing, Matt. He landed 28.12 fantasy points, which is super solid for that.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost 30. Game. That's almost 30 points. Yeah,
solid game, bro.
That's a hell of a game. You're like, I'll take that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's where you want to be at. Not the Mahomes. You look at the two. You're like, little different here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Let's go to Green Bay at Philadelphia, but at Brazil, São Paulo. So yeah, definitely. There wasn't as many duds in this game. I would say, Pat, unless you feel differently. I feel like there's a couple that like maybe didn't necessarily hit expectations, but not like the Kelsey, not like the Andrews, and definitely not like Patrick Mahomes, who you're expecting to do really well, or Derrick Henry, who were expecting to have a monster game and he had 30 yards.
Yeah, agreed.
But so out of everybody, there's one guy that stands out to me. I'm going to hold it to see if he's the same guy for you. And we kind of were texting back and forth about this guy. But I feel like there was one guy who like everybody was drafting high. And I'll be honest, man, I was like, I don't know, man. He's on a different team. He's getting older. Didn't really look the best last year on his old team. But dude, he had a monster game. Saquon Barkley, man. Saquon Barkley.
Come on, man.
I was looking at this as I was watching the game. Again, I was watching it because in Wisconsin, had friends over and kind of just hanging out and watching the game. So Teresa came over with her daughter, so we were kind of just like hanging out watching. And that was the game that was just like Saquon Barkley all day, running rampant. He looked so good. Not only did he have 24 carries for 190 yards and 2 touchdowns, he also had 2 receptions for 23 yards and a touchdown. 3 total fucking touchdowns, Saquon Barkley. Pat,
dude, it looked great. I mean, come on, man. So that'll net you 33.2 fantasy points. That was what he nailed. That's money. Phenomenal.
That's money, dude.
Yeah, like I mean, come on, man. He's in the top, like real talk for probably best wide receiver week, best running back week 1. Oh yeah, for sure.
And when we do our recap at the end, Monday or Tuesday, especially for All In, we're definitely going to highlight the studs, man, and he will be up there as a stud list, man.
I was, like I said, it's week 1. I'm not going to super overreact it, but he had a phenomenal first game. Period.
Yeah.
So
no doubt. Even out of both games, I would say he was the one that like had probably the best showing, just because of like the expectation was coming in. It was really high. He lived up to those expectations and beyond. 3 touchdowns. I mean that's fucking nuts, man. So. Who else you want to hit, man? Because there's a bunch, dude. This is a phenomenal game, dude. I gotta say, we gave international game it's props. Like
Oh,
they finally
yeah,
picked
no,
two
it was
goddamn good
nice.
teams, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, I'll stick on the Eagles side real quick. I'll just
All
run it. I
right,
mean, like since I'm on that, and you can
do your
touch
thing, man.
your
Yeah, do your thing, man.
you know, since you're in Packerland, you can play with the
All right,
cheese
all
heads.
right.
So Jalen Hurts, who I have in one of my leagues, I love it. He did. I think he had a solid game. It was nothing. It wasn't anything out of this world, but it was a
No.
good, nice. You know, look, Saquon is not there, so I don't think, and there's no more Kelsey, so I think this tush push won't be as
Well, they tried it,
used.
and
Yeah,
they got stuffed. He like
that's
literally
what
got
I'm
pushed back
saying.
a
It's
yard. It
not.
is not the same.
The center
No.
isn't there, man. Kelsey was like the X factor to that. So I
Yeah.
think Saquon might, I don't know, man, TBD, but 20 for 34, 278, 2 touchdowns, he had 2 INTs, but still got the job done at the end of the day, and they do win. But he did look good, man. I'm fine with that. I think they'll get, once the center and him get in cahoots and like they work more, give it
Yep.
some time, man. Kelsey's like
And
a well-oiled machine, man. You can't compare this new cat to throw him in there
oh
versus
no, no,
him,
no.
you
You
know?
know, and definitely too. There was definitely a couple of like exchanges between center and quarterback that did not go well. There was a couple of times when like you
Oh,
could see
yeah.
on the sidelines that definitely were talking about it. They're like, dude, I wasn't expecting that. Like whatever. So yeah, but yeah, not a bad game. Hurts, I think is pretty legit, dude. He looked
Solid.
really good, looked comfortable. With the new scheme and the new players that he's got, like Saquon Barkley. So, and he still gave you some rushing yards. I mean, damn, he had 13 carries for 33 yards. So I mean,
Yeah.
not
Not bad at
not
all.
not Lamar numbers, but 33 yards is a lot for a quarterback. So we'll take it, especially 13
Love it,
carries. That's a
man.
lot.
And then I'll just hit the 2 wideouts that everyone started, because I started one and he didn't have the better of the two game, but he still had a good game. AJ Brown went 5 receptions, 119, 1 touchdown. Typical AJ Brown number. You know what
Yeah,
I
it
mean? Like
is. I
that's a
mean, it very much
solid.
is.
That's what he's number one there. And then I had Devontae. He had 7 receptions for 84 yards, 8 targets. So he's capitalizing too. He's not like he's dropping on whatever's thrown to him. It's pretty much sticking. So I mean, you still got two solid wide receivers with him. So he has his guys, which is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's always been 1A, 1B, and it kind of lives up to that. AJ Brown was the target. He was targeted more with 10 targets versus 8 for Devontae. And then Dallas Goedert. I mean, that's probably another big surprise. I think people always look at him as like, middle tier, if you don't do the top tier tight ends, as a good second level or third level. Kind of disappointing as well. 4 receptions, 31 yards off of 5 targets.
Yeah.
So it's just
Flat,
like
flat game.
it's like a tight end game. It's like a typical tight end game, right? Nothing to write home about. So,
Correct.
Yeah, all in all, pretty solid. And then, yeah, I mean, going over to the Packers, man. Josh Jacobs, not bad. We'll say the quarterback for last. Josh Jacobs, not bad. 16 carries, 84 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, he didn't look phenomenal.
He had a slow start, though. I will admit, the first half, his numbers were very low. It was like he only had like 20-something yards within like the first half. It was very slim. I was looking at his numbers because I have someone I'm playing him in fantasy, and I looked. I'm like, very slow start. And then the second half, he got a couple more carries, gained a little bit. So, yeah, averaging, just over 5 yards per rush. So he stepped up better. But like I said, it's a new home, new feel. So we'll see what
and then they're working him in, and that might change. I mean, again, if Jordan Love's being out, that might put more emphasis on the run. So you might see Josh Jacobs doing even more run, and hopefully they can get better. Offensive line looked okay. They don't look great, like not super dominant. And then you go to the receivers. So Jalen Reed was definitely the star of Packerland. He actually had less targets than Romeo Doubs, so that's something to think about too. He had dominated. So both Doubs and Reed caught 4 catches, but Jalen Reed got 138 yards and had some moves and looked like Jalen Reed and looked like the guy coming out of Michigan State, the speedster out of Michigan State. He was known for that at Michigan State. And same thing, we talked about from Xavier Worthy. Like this dude's got speed, not obviously Xavier Worthy speed, not record-breaking speed, but he is a speedster. He was known for that when he came out of Michigan State, and he definitely put it on the show. 138 yards, 1 touchdown off of 6 targets. Then, like I said, Dobbs only got 50 yards, but still, I mean, if he's your wide receiver 3 or 4, four catches for 50 yards for your wide receiver 3 or 4, I'll take that. And then the tight ends were kind of completely lost, to be honest with you. So Luke Musgrave had 2 targets, 0 catches. I think one of the biggest surprises, when you talk about the 3. Even their coach says that they don't have a number 1 wide receiver, but they've got 3 great wide receivers. Well, the one who didn't really show out at all is Christian Watson, which I think most people, if you were to ask them who do they think is probably the best want to go after was probably Jalen Reed
Christian Watson
or Christian
and
Watson,
Christian
right?
Watson was up high. He was a lot of people were talking very highly during our drafts. Like,
yep,
that was a target guy, and the only way he even hit the ticket really is because he had 1 touchdown. If he didn't have that touchdown, he only had 3 receptions for 13 yards. You'd be like, what? That's an absolute dud.
That doesn't even belong in your lineup, dude. I mean, that's like a horrible game, So yeah, I mean, I guess he could go on the dud, meter for us, because you take away the touchdown, which touchdowns are not always guaranteed; they're kind of fluky.
Yeah, it's kind of out. Yeah,
five targets. He even got the least amount of targets out of all 3 wide receivers too. So 5 targets, 3 receptions. I mean, that's not a good day. Nope. So keep an eye on that. That is something to keep an eye on. Christian Watson. I don't know if it's just the game plan for that particular opponent, or if it's just how it unfolded. But Correct. Keep looking. One thing that we've talked about in the past, targets mean a lot. And that is one thing that we do look at quite a bit here on Elite, is look at target share and look at who's getting more targets and look at it throughout the season. So sometimes you catch them, and sometimes the targets will actually show up in the rest of the stats. But sometimes you look at it and somebody has 10 targets and they might have 5 receptions like A.J. Brown, and they might only have 65 yards, and you're like, oh, it's only 65 yards. But you get 10 targets, that's a lot. If you get a third or 25% of the team's targets, that's huge. So Christian Watson's not getting the most amount of targets out of 3 wide receivers. So that is something definitely to keep
Agreed,
your eye
on.
I mean, Pat, anything else before we go into the quarterback?
I just like I have to say is like now it's all pending on the quarterback. The quarterback is the captain of the ship, and like you said, the man that's backing up Malik Willis looks like crap. So
Malik Willis.
Oh my lord, bro, it's gonna be a problem. Dude, it's gonna be a problem, man. They
traded
Reed, for all of them. All of them are gonna be like, don't expect a good game for the next few weeks. These numbers will not be what they are for sure. This is a big flip of the page.
That's 100%. I mean, if you have anybody, I think that's a great conversation to kind of end on. So Jordan Love did have a good game. He looked really good again. I mean, he had 1 interception, which is whatever. 17 completions off of 34 passes, so 50% ratio, which isn't great. 260 yards and 2 touchdowns, so average. And then he got injured, so definitely keep an eye on that. But like Pat said, until we figure out how long he's going to be out, this definitely, like, all the wide receivers in Green Bay fall many, many tiers. Maybe probably Jalen Reed is probably the only one.
You're not going to start. There's no way you can start. I can't.
I mean, maybe Jalen Reed, just because of like all they got to do is figure out ways to get the balls in his hand. The balls. To get the ball in his hand. Find a way to get the ball in his hand and like let him do the work. You know what I mean? Where the other ones, like, they might require more. So
Josh Jacobs is a solid start for the rest of these weeks. He's gonna be
100%. He goes up. He goes up actually, because they're going to rely on him a lot more. Which the defense know that, but still, Josh Jacobs could wear them down. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes, man. But yeah, definitely keep an eye.
Worn down either. He's got to stay just as healthy as anyone else too, man.
For sure, dude. I mean, yeah, everything changed in like with 8 seconds left for the Green Bay Packers. It's a shame.
I mean, being a Bears fan, you're fine with it, so we know you're like whatever,
I mean, but I'm also living here, so it's also I get to I feel the pain of everybody who's rooting for their team here, so it does suck.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I agree. So
all right,
Matt,
let's
Sunday.
Let's run down
lineup.
Brother.
Let's go, bro.
Let's go. We're gonna go quick.
You start. You pick it.
We'll go quick. We're at the 40-minute mark, man, and we'll kind of go through them. We're gonna go one by one, man. Let's start with Steelers and Falcons. So take us through what you're thinking as far as start sit. Who you're definitely having in your lineup. Like, let's go. I mean, from an Atlanta standpoint, if you want to hit that first, yeah.
Well, Drake is definitely gonna be in there.
Got Drake London, Drizzy Drake.
Got that Drizzy, not BBL Drizzy. Drake London from Atlanta. He's going to be in your lineup. Kyle Pitts, is this your year? I'm looking at you in your eyes, bro. Like, are you the flop?
I thought you were giving me the eyes. I was like, ooh.
No, this is straight. You get good eyes. This is like I'm focused eyes. Like, this guy. Are you in or are you out, bro? That's what I want to see.
Man the fuck up, dude. Man the fuck up.
And Bijan, bro, run that ball. I'm excited. I got stock in you too, bro.
Let's see what you got from me. Bijan's a total start. So Bijan's total start. Drizzy Drake is a total start. Don't even think about it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts, bro. Kyle Pitts all day.
Kyle Pitts, you have to. These Pitts dropped as the year went on a little bit. There's a lot of other tight ends that went before him, but you got to start him. If you have him, you're going to start him unless you have some other, another equally high tight end somewhere else you got him, but start.
What
Kirk
about Darnell
Cousins, you
Mooney?
could Mooney. Me, I don't know, man. That's deep. That's a deeper
Yeah,
cut.
no.
I'm
I would
gonna
have
I'm
it
gonna
as like
hold
a
him
wide
off.
receiver 4, wide receiver 3,
Yeah,
wide receiver 4.
leave him out. He's just good for best
He's
ball, man.
out.
If it's the ticket, let it ride out.
That's
But he's
actually a
cool,
great
man.
call. I think he could crush it in best ball, to be honest with you.
Best ball. That's where you told me when I was picking him up throughout this all off
Yeah.
season. I'm heavily invested in that man in a lot of
In
ways. So
best ball. Yep.
yes. So we'll see what he has to offer. Kirk Cousins, if you probably have a better option, you should have a better option than Kirk Cousins. But
At least
he's
for
more
week 1.
reliable if he
No, at least for
stays.
week 1, though. I agree with that.
Yeah,
You got to definitely don't take the
I
risk
would
on Kirk
pass on
Cousins for
him.
week 1. Yeah, no.
All right, Matt, go ahead on the Pitt side, bro. Who you got in that?
Dude, there's really nobody to talk
Dark.
about on the Pittsburgh side. I mean, Najee Harris is probably much the only one that I would feel comfortable starting. Najee is like the only one that I feel
Warren
comfortable.
will be there though too. He's going to be split carries.
Yeah, but I still don't think with his injury, I don't see them giving him a lot. I still think it'll be the Najee show. I personally think it'll probably be like a 60-40, maybe 65-35 split between Najee and Warren. Definitely not starting Fields. We did talk about this earlier. If you just jumped in later, Russell Wilson's out, so Fields will be starting. I will not start Fields. Don't care what the scenario is. I do not feel comfortable starting Fields. And actually, if you have him in Dynasty, what I would say is if he has a good game, try to flip Fields right away. Try to sell him as quickly as you can if you haven't sold him already. And then if you go to the wide receivers, man, Pickens, I don't know if I feel comfortable. I mean, again, you go back to the quarterback situation. Being a Bears fan and watching Fields last year,
I'll pass on that one.
He did great with DJ Moore, but Pickens isn't DJ Moore. And just from the preseason, it looks like Fields might have got worse actually. So I don't feel comfortable starting George Pickens, maybe as a wide receiver 3, just until you can see what's going to happen. And then nobody else in that offense, to be honest with you. Nobody's even worth. Roman Wilson, nope, he's injured. Not really even worth talking about. Freiermuth, no, thank you. Pass. Yeah.
And then Matt, who are you taking? Steelers or Atlanta? Make your pick.
Atlanta.
Real quick.
No, not even a dude. That's my eliminator game. I've actually got in Survivor. That's actually my Survivor picks. Is Atlanta. I'm like there's no dude at Atlanta against this shitty ass team and Pittsburgh Steelers. This might be Mike Tomlin's first losing season. What a way to start.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna be with you on this. To be honest with you, I definitely
first losing season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. All right, we got Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills. Pat, why don't you take Arizona?
Okay. Marvin Harris, you paid the
price
for that pick.
That guy. Come on.
Yeah. Kyler Murray.
That's not in. Yeah. Start.
Harris is definitely. I mean,
James Conner. What are you thinking?
James Conner, Trey McBride. Like those are your 4. You're gonna start. Like I think you have to start them all. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
What was
Unless
it
you
again?
have a better back, maybe. But I think they're all a start.
List them again. Kyler Murray,
James Conner, Trey McBride, and
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harris Jr. All start.
I totally agree. What about Zay Jones? Zay Danso?
I wouldn't. I'm not in love with him yet. I totally agree. Leave him off. Like that's another great dynasty person to have on your team because he can hit the ticket if they're double teaming Harris or
best ball.
Trey's best ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That could be a nice little option to have, and you can also have him help win your week.
Hell yeah.
Who you got in Buffalo?
I mean, Josh Allen obviously is a start. This is going to be not the defining game. I don't think that's accurately put. This will be a game to kind of showcase what he can do without having Diggs there, which actually needed to change. One of my team names was Allen Diggs touchdowns.
Okay.
So Allen Diggs, like Allen loves but play on words.
Diggs, yeah, I get it.
And now I got to change that though. Now I got to actually change it so it doesn't say Allen Diggs touchdowns because he's no longer throwing to Diggs. James Cook is definitely a start, hardcore start. And then after that, I mean, Keon Coleman, I don't feel comfortable. I'll say Kincaid. So Dalton Kincaid would also be a start for me, hardcore start. I think he's going to get a lot of the targets early because I think it'll be a way for Keon Coleman to get comfortable and integrated in the offense in a real football game instead of just preseason. And then Keon Coleman, I would say just watch. I don't feel comfortable putting him in the lineup for this week. If you have him in a best ball, it'd be great. Maybe he goes off and he's on your bench, but I would put him as wide receiver 3 at best. Maybe a flex or wide receiver 4, comfortable.
Yeah.
It's just, you just don't know. It's an outlier. He is the number 1 wide receiver. So if someone else to say he's a wide receiver 2, go for it. I just wouldn't feel comfortable putting him in that position. I think I could find 24 other wide receivers that I feel more comfortable with.
Beforehand, yeah. 100%.
We've already talked. I mean, we've already talked about probably 9 of them right there in the 3 games or 2 games that we already covered. So
correct.
So I don't think that's a far-fetched statement to say. So yeah, I mean, basically, that'd be the one that I would say I don't start unless you have a really deep roster a lineup that you can set. And then maybe he's your wide receiver 4 and you start Keon Coleman, or your second flex and you start him. But other than that, I don't
let him have a nice hot game, and then you can feel a little heat. Like, oh, nice, he had a solid game. Then you can build a little confidence to see where Allen's head is. So that's fine.
See if Allen can actually do something without Diggs around. So
who are you picking?
I almost forgot. This has been hard. Even when I was doing my pick'ems, I was like, oh, I don't know about this one. Cardinals.
Okay, I'm gonna go opposite. I think Buffalo's still.
We gotta start recording these. We gotta start recording these at the end. So then we can start. We'll do a tally. We'll do a tally.
That's fine. We'll write it down at the end of the show. I'll make sure I'll keep tabs for our win loss. Let's check it out. So
I love it.
I'm stealing yours thunder on this one because you're the homer. But Bears Titans, right?
Yeah.
Bears are home, 1:00. You're pumped.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You'll get it on TV because Green Bay played yesterday, so you're gonna get this.
Yeah,
nice
I'm hoping. I'm gonna be pissed if it's not on TV.
You gotta start Swift right off the bat. I love him.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh man, like solid. Now,
what do you think he's gonna do? What do you think his spread's gonna look like?
I think he can crack 100 yards, 1 touchdown
total, or are you thinking just rushing? Total
rushing. I think he can hit 100 and then maybe 20 yards receiving out the back, maybe
and a touchdown,
and then 1 touchdown.
One touchdown.
No fumbles. No fumbles. No fumbles.
No. Okay.
Definitely a start. DJ Moore, gotta start him. I'm starting him.
Yep.
A lot of people I know start him. You're not.
I agree.
I think
I was just going to say the wide receiver room. Let's just talk about that in general.
Man, can I tell you? I don't know, man. Keenan Allen. Everyone. He looks great.
He's also injured, dude. He also has a foot injury too, which we didn't talk about. So there's something wrong with his foot. They're being very vague about it.
Yeah, there's never been solid anything on him.
No, but they just said his foot and his cleats or something.
That's all right, how's it? I will start DJ Moore and Roma Dunes over.
Ooh, that is spicy.
Yeah, I think
that is fucking spicy.
Let the rookies connect. Like get a little.
Oh, they've already connected, man. They've already. I love it. I fucking love it, man.
So I think I take more in Dunes. I would Rome will have a little action. I think that's my prediction this week. So I would start. I could see you starting it if you need it. Why not?
What do you think about Cole Kmet, the tight end room?
I'm holding out on him. I think you have a lot of better options.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially
Let it go. Not yet. Agree. I mean he. You have Everett. I don't think it's big. Mercedes,
and that's what I was going to say. But he could take some targets away, and they've got other wide receivers. Like all that's going to take targets away from Cole Kmet. I would hold him too. I 100% agree with you.
I think he's a good bye week guy. He's more of like a bye week kind of guy. Like I can see him if you need him and you have him on your bench just for tight end purpose, for a fill in later. That's it. But unless he has some drastic change and everyone's like, oh my god, buy now, then you can sell him and get a good. So yeah, that's my start sit, bro.
Well, you missed one. Caleb Williams.
Oh, Caleb, I'm not starting yet. Unless you need it. I got to see a game. I got to see at least one or two solid games before you. I have him. He's on my bench. I'm a Bears Bengal guy this year.
I know you are, dude. I love it. It's fucking amazing.
God, dude. It's weird. Out of all the freaking teams, I'm like, Bears, Bengals?
So what do you think? Let's just say from a numbers perspective, though. Okay, throw down some Caleb Williams numbers. What do you think he's going to perform?
I think Caleb rushes for 55 yards and throws for 215, 2 touchdowns.
215, 2 touchdowns. Okay, I mean not great, but it's a decent start.
Yeah,
I mean,
but you're also
a rookie.
Game, first game, let him get acclimated. Everyone's new.
Tennessee Titans also have a very good defense too. Let's just be honest. Yeah. So it's not like.
But I can also, like I said, I can see Swift scoring also. That's what I'm saying. I can see him throwing for at least 2.
That's fair.
And then see what he has to go. So go ahead. Now who you got that Titan team?
I don't know if I trust anybody on the Titan side. Will Levis is absolutely
no Ridley.
That'd be honestly that'd be the only one that I would, and I'd put him as a wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3. No, actually I would take he's like a wide receiver 2. Yeah, that's about right. Low end wide
Okay.
receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3.
That's fair.
I actually like D-Hop, but he's injured. I
Yeah.
actually drafted him quite a bit of times in redraft because of what he did last year, and I was hoping to make it back for game 1. He's still questionable.
Yep.
So there's a possibility he could play, but it's a leg injury too. So like I'm just probably wouldn't play him. Just wait to see what he does. It might be something where he's limited. You know, again, he's an older wide receiver. Do they want to rush him back? Are they going to give him the full amount of snaps? Unless it comes out beforehand that he's 100% good to go. And if he is, then I would feel more comfortable starting D-Hop over Ridley, to be honest with you.
I agree with that 100%. Yes.
And then, dude, we're simpatico today. And then Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears, they've already mentioned, the coaching staff has mentioned it's going to be 50-50 split. So I don't feel comfortable starting either of them because roll the dice and who knows what the hell who's going to start. So both of those are sit. Unless you're absolutely in a bad place with running backs and you have to start on one of them, then I would say probably Tony Pollard, who's top of the depth charts, but I think Tajay Spears probably has more upside. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's really not much more to talk about.
No. You're taking the Bears, so that's fine. We get it. And I
Bears.
am too.
Yeah, we're Bears. We're picking Bears.
So you could take my next one. Go ahead. You could steal all my thunder. Go for it.
The Cincinnati Bengals now. So we've got the New England Patriots playing at Cincinnati against the Cincinnati Bengals.
In all orange uniforms. It's their first time in the creamsicle colorway. It's going to be
it is.
Orange.
I don't know if I knew that.
From
okay.
head to toe, all orange.
Okay, that'll be interesting.
Right behind
me. There's already a lot of questions on this whole entire situation. Is Chase going to play? Higgins, as you said, pretty much he's doubtful. Whenever you're doubtful, it's out. You just assume the person's going to be out. So you've got T. Higgins out. You've got Jamar Chase, who said he'll play even if he doesn't get a contract throughout the season. And I believe his deadline for the contract was Friday, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was yesterday. And he said he's a 50-50 how he feels. For the God, he's a game time decision. So owners, I'm telling you better watch before you start him tomorrow. You need to be like literally on the clock, like that 12:30. You should be ready to either take him
12:30 Eastern,
put him on the bench,
not Central Time because the game would have already started.
Eastern. Correct. Sorry about that. Eastern Time. You better, honest to God, because if not, you're going to be locked in. If you get a donut on your week 1, you're going to be super pissed.
Yeah.
And don't blame me. I told you.
But even Chase, and honestly, even if he says I'm going to play. He's not going to play a lot of snaps. So
he's got to get acclimated again. So it's not a full game. But you're going to start him, though. I
mean, you drafted him, you have to start him, right? You have to. Choice. Because all I could take is one reception and go 55 yards for a touchdown, and that makes up for you starting him right then and there.
With no problem.
Chase Brown, I would start.
Yes.
Joe Burrow.
Zach Moss?
Zach Moss, no.
Really? Because he's going to get the nod. He starts.
No, they're saying that they list him as a start on the depth chart, but I don't think it's going to be his backfield.
It's not going to be a show, but I'm just saying for game 1, I wouldn't start him. I mean, if you should have other options before Zach Moss.
I think you should have other options. I just don't trust. I think Chase Brown is a better back. I don't know why they haven't declared it already. Here's gonna be a doozy. Joe Burrow, I'm going to sit if I can. Man, I think there's so many more options. Dude, if you're in a redraft, there's so many other quarterback options that are out there. He already has his number 2 out. He could have his number 1 on either A out or B on a snap count. Yeah, and who's he throwing to? Jermaine Burton, who's amazing, and
Ilyasova and Trent Irwin. Yeah, and like there's I went through the depth chart. And Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki.
Tight end.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki.
You might get some tight end.
So yeah, dude, Joe Burrow's a sit. Joe Burrow's a sit. I'm not even fucking around with that dude. Like and Mike Gesicki's a sit. Like and then
I'm not messing with that.
And if Chase is gone, then just gonna be running. Like let's say he decides he's not good to go, then it's gonna be what are they gonna run it the whole time? So that could actually hurt the running back. So that could actually be bad.
It makes me nervous, but yes, I agree. I'm with it.
All right, you do the New England side. Hit the New England side.
Next, none. I'm starting nobody. There's nothing to start. Nothing. Maybe Rashad Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Because I'm going to tell you, Cincinnati has a decent defense against the run.
Oh, they got a really good defense.
That's what I'm saying. Against the run, I'm going to sit nobody in New England. So, and
you're going to sit everybody in New England. You're not going to play anybody.
New England, there is not one star. The only people you're really drafting is like rookies, long shots, and Stevenson. That's really it. Like, there's no one else you're really going to start. No wide receiver you're starting on.
Jacoby Brissett is not a starter. So
no. So we're letting it go.
All right.
And I'm taking Cincinnati to win.
I'll take Cincinnati to win as well. Although if those two are down, I like Chase. Well, Higgins is already out, we said, but if Chase is out, I think it's gonna be a lot closer than people will want to see it. So, but definitely Bengals will pull it off at home. They got it in the orange uniforms. They can't fuck that up. Let's go.
Dude, it's the opening day.
Tennessee Texans, or sorry, my God, Houston Texans versus Indianapolis Colts. I don't know where the Tennessee Texans came from. Cool. Versus Indianapolis Colts. Why don't you take the Texans? Because I know it's got your boy on that side.
Dude, that's me, bro. CJ Stroud, bro. He's started in like 3 of my leagues because that's my quarterback I went and got, and I paid early for it. So hopefully it pays dividends. Tank Dell, you will start. Nico Collins, you will start, and Stephon Diggs, you will start. You have no choice.
Ooh, the trifecta. You got all three. Yes. You start all three.
Any of those, you will start. I don't care what you say. You have no choice.
Okay.
And Joe Mixon is a start. Also.
So put him in order of preference, like between the 3 wide receivers.
Nico Collins will be 1. Diggs will be 2, but what a close 3 is Tank Dell, because Tank Dell's one big bang play.
Well, that's all it takes. Really he could have a big goose egg until like the 4th quarter and like 5 minutes left, and he could get a 65-yard touchdown.
Yeah, Stroud's just gonna bomb one deep for him, and he's gonna go out and grab it. So, and Schultz and a tight end, I could see you starting him. Yes, I would start him if you need him. Like, I think it's a solid pick because he's gonna be open in the middle of the field.
And the offense was amazing last year, so he is CJ Stroud shown the ability to be able to fling the ball around and to get multiple people.
And Fairbairn, the kicker, because I'm starting his ass too, because I want all of it.
Kickers count. Kickers matter.
And I have Houston.
There's more.
And I'm starting Houston's defense too in one of my other leagues. So yes, there's a lot.
How do you feel about Houston's defense against Indianapolis, man? I don't know.
I don't trust Richardson yet. You need to prove it. So I'm like, I'm starting him. I am 100% putting pressure on him. He didn't look that great in the preseason.
Defense.
Yeah, Texans defense against Indianapolis for sure. Okay. And then you can carry on to,
Yeah. So we'll do Indianapolis. We'll do it quick. Josh Downs is out. We did not talk about that. That was actually one guy that we didn't make sure we highlight. He's out with an injury, so he will not be there in the lineup. Anthony Richardson, if you have to start him, depending on your quarterback situation, I have him as a low-end quarterback. I probably had like between 15 and 8, like 12 and 15 as far as the quarterbacks go. But he could.
Quick question on the fly, because Hal has Richardson and Burrow. Who do you start?
Richardson.
Okay, and that's who he's starting. Just so you know,
it's a great question. I think that's a very viable question. But there's much more upside with Richardson than there is with Burrow.
Okay,
especially with like the quarterbacks, the wide receiver situation there. Jonathan Taylor is a start.
Equal numbers too. It's very super spot on. You're only off like 0.2 of a point, just so you know, between their projections.
I like it. Jonathan Taylor, no doubt start. Michael Pittman, if you need to, as a wide receiver, low end wide receiver 2, fine.
Flex.
Yeah, flex is perfect. Start in a flex spot. We said Downs is out. Adonai Mitchell, I would not start. Do not trust right away. In general, I don't know if I trust him that much. And then that's pretty much it. Tight ends are not really, I don't really have any good tight ends. So Kyle Granson, maybe, if you're in Dynasty, if you have a big bench. But other than that, that is that.
That's it. Who are you picking?
Oh, you know who I'm picking, man. Houston Texans. Not to be confused with the Tennessee Texans, which I did earlier.
Well, Tennessee Texans, that's like, some other team. That's a high school team. That's okay, though. We'll watch them on Friday Night Lights for you.
Well, you know what it is? Like, my niece goes to Tennessee, and there's I keep looking them to the right because there's this big group chat with my family, and my stepbrother's talking about, like, the stadium that Tennessee plays at. They've got a big game this week. And he's like, oh, I wish we were at the game in Tennessee. So that's why I think Tennessee is stuck in my head. Because she goes to the University of Tennessee, or the Volunteers.
And I'm writing our picks down as we go, just so you know. I'm not messing around anymore. We will.
All right, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Miami Dolphins. Since you're writing those down, I will take the Miami Dolphins first. I'm going to take the easier one. I'm going to say start Tua, start Hill. You're also going to start Jalen Waddle, because I don't think he's going to be as great as everybody's drafted him as high up as they are. But I still think he's a viable wide receiver 2 and low end wide receiver 2, 3. Maybe he'll prove me wrong and become a high end wide receiver 2, but I don't necessarily see that in this offense. I don't see Tua distributing the ball as much as everybody thinks he's going to. Raheem Mostert, start. He is the official starter, so until that proves differently, I would even start Achane. It's the first time we talked about this. I'd start both running backs. Just because you never know. Achane can easily have a run. They'll probably split the workload like they did last year. Achane, just like we talked about, earlier with Tank Dell, all it takes is one carry, one run, one handling ball, and Achane could go for 80 yards, and you don't want to be looking at the screen going, oh, who just ran across this? Oh, that was Achane, and he's sitting on my bench. So he's definitely a start for me. And then from the tight end perspective, I would not start anybody. And kicker, I would definitely start in Jason Sanders.
Moody's the other guy. I'm sorry, I'm thinking
Sanders, yeah.
Monday night running. Yeah. So yes.
Do you disagree with any of that? How do you feel about that?
No, I like it, bro. I think you have no choice with the running back scenario. It's a split right now, plus injury, plus everything.
Well, and it's high-powered offense too. So it's like, and they're both speedsters. Jalen Wright's the only one that I would not start.
Yeah, running backs, got some wide receivers you're starting, and you got a solid quarterback if you need it, because he could be another one that you can use. So I like it. I'm cool with it. Got 5 people you can start, 6 with the kicker.
Hell yeah.
Why not? So Jacksonville.
Let's do it.
Travis Etienne must start. He's been drafted super freaking high this year. You got no choice. Evan Ingram, solid tight end. He's being raised really high. I would do that. T-Law, if you need him, you can use him. I don't think it's the best available because he was going lower in. You should have a better.
Yeah, I'm not really. He scares me, dude.
It,
he scares me.
Let me ask you something.
What's
the
up,
rookie phenomenon they have down there? The wide receiver
in Jacksonville.
Yes. Who am I talking about?
Oh, Brian Thomas.
Yeah. Do you start that rookie phenomenon?
I would, because look at what Ridley did last year in that offense. Basically, Brian Thomas is replacing Ridley, correct, and on top of that, they've just spoke very highly of Brian Thomas the whole entire preseason. So I think he's gonna have a good game. I think he will be the ultimate replacement for Calvin Ridley, and I think it'll start week 1.
Yeah, I mean, you're not starting either, clearly, because that's just like dynasty maneuver, because he gets starting what too. Gabe Davis is like a dynasty maneuver for that team.
No. I don't trust Gabe Davis. I've never trusted Gabe Davis. I've never been on the Gabe Davis bandwagon.
He did win me a game or 2 last year, just so you know. I threw the flyer. It was random.
And that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's fair, and that's what he does. But I'm just saying, like, in general, I've never drafted him because I know that that's all he does. Is he's like a roll the dice, and it's like you don't know when to roll the dice, because
correct.
It could be a 0 or 2, or it could be a 32 from Gabe Davis.
Yep,
you just don't know.
All right, Matt. So we got that. Who are you picking?
I'm going to pick the Miami Dolphins. I will also say that this is one of the highest over-unders at 49. So when we're talking about all these offensive weapons, Vegas is saying that this is supposed to be a high-powered game. It's tied with the third for the third best over-under points at 49. So smash Miami Dolphins. We're currently 3.5 favorites.
That's all right. It's crazy because we're tied. It's for Arizona and Buffalo so far in our picks, just so you know.
Okay. All right.
Next up, Carolina Panthers will be visiting the New Orleans Saints. So this is like a weird game to me. I'm not like in love with this game.
No, this game is gonna be boring as fuck. It's gonna be boring.
So I'll go quick. I'll take New Orleans. You're not starting Derek Carr. You should have way better choice at that. Alvin Kamara, you are going to start.
Yes.
That's really all I'm starting. What's this? Shakir. I can't say his name.
Rashid. Yeah. What about Olave? Not even Olave.
Olave. Yeah.
Chris Olave. You gotta start Chris Olave.
Olave. I'll give you this. Olave, you're gonna start, but I'm not in love with Olave at all, because just off of Derek Carr,
I agree with you.
He got drafted really high again, and like we didn't really highlight that. Like that's a guy I avoided drafting. I wouldn't, if I was in that like area. I didn't take him.
No, I agree.
I completely passed.
I totally agree.
Because Derek Carr is not a consistent quarterback. I don't even like, the line is still shaky down in New Orleans. In New Orleans too. Like their defense is better than the offensive line. The defensive line will hold up way better than the offensive line. So Olave, because where you picked them, that's it. And Kamara.
Yeah. And then Kamara. Totally agree. And then we'll go to Carolina's. Bryce Young, do not start. Unless you're in Dynasty and you absolutely have nobody else left. I think he'll have a better year this year than he did last year. He's got more offensive weapons, but you still can't trust him until you see it. Chuba Hubbard, start. Deontay Johnson, nope. Adam Thielen, no. Old man Thielen.
Old man.
You know who I'm kind of intrigued on, though? So Tommy Treble, who's a tight end for Carolina, he is out for the game. So Jontavian Sanders is a rookie coming out of, oh my God, I'm blanking. I'm usually really good at remembering these. I think it's Miami or Florida. One of the Florida states. He's really good, dude, with like one of those like Swiss Army knife guys. Like could be a wide receiver, could be a tight end. Wanted to stick with tight end, like he's a smaller size. I think he could actually have a pretty good game. So I think if you do like a best ball, if you do something like that where you're drafting for the weekend and you just want to do a random tight end that nobody else will have, I think he's worth a look. I probably project him as being tight end 10 to 18. Like it's probably a wide variance of tight ends.
Cool.
But just knowing his talent and how talented and athletic this kid is, I think he'd be worth doing a flyer on. But again, if you're doing like a normal redraft, he's not in your lineup, nor should he be. But keep an eye on that, though, because if he does really well and Tommy Trouble is out, it could be somebody to look forward to for the next couple of weeks. And it could be a waiver pickup that we're talking about on Monday or Tuesday when we do our next podcast. So somebody to think about.
So New Orleans for both of us. I already put it down. You
don't have to know it. Yeah. New Orleans. I love it, man. So all right, go to the next one.
The Giants and the Vikings. So
this is gonna be another boring game. I feel like it's just gonna be like a snooze fest.
I guess I'll take the Giants. Giants.
Okay. Well, there's nobody to talk about in the Giants, like or one person to talk about in the Giants.
I can see Singletary if you need a running back, if you need one. Okay, and Neighbors.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, even Neighbors, you might want to hold off for a week just to see what is
if you
going
can,
on.
if you can, because the way people draft him, we might not be able to. But if you
how about a flex spot? I throw him in the flex.
Yeah,
like he can be like in that
fair.
spot. But other than that, that's it. I'm out on the Giants. Next, we gotta move through this one. There's nothing.
All right, Justin Jefferson start on the Viking side, and that is actually even Aaron Jones. I don't know if I trust Aaron Jones.
Okay.
If you have, I mean, there's talks that Ty Chandler might be splitting the workload with him as well that I've heard. Wow. So, and Ty Chandler was a talented running back coming out of college. So I could see Aaron Jones maybe getting a touchdown and like 75 yards, maybe 80 yards and a touchdown. So if you need him or if you drafted him as your RB1 or RB2, I guess you're going to utilize him because you need to. You got to. You can't walk away from Jordan Addison. For me is a sit until we figure out what this offense looks like under Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold is a absolute no. Trash.
And so Justin Jefferson's really the main guy. That's it.
And it's just because where you drafted him. You have to.
And then Minnesota for both of us, clearly. Got it. Great.
Yep. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. So
I was going to say San Diego actually just now, but that's fine.
I know that's why I said it slowly. I was like, where are they now? Are they Los Angeles? Are they?
So I want the Raiders because I got
you like the Raiders. Yeah, you like the Raiders. Go ahead.
I'm starting Bowers. I am going to start Bowers.
Okay.
He's questionable, but I think he should be fine. Keep an eye up to game time with him just in case. It's a 4:05 start, so just make sure if you're going to hold off, you're going to lose that 1 o'clock hour game from Eastern Standard Time. So be careful with that. Yep. Zamir White, I am starting. I think he's got I think it's his team till he loses.
I totally agree.
And Devontae Adams clearly because you drafted him in the first round or second round, you're going to start him. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
And maybe the kicker. No-go.
Yeah.
Kicker,
no.
Yep. Kicker, I totally agree.
Even the defense, bro. Let me tell you something, man. Crosby's a mean boy, bro. That dude's going to be chasing Herbert around that freaking field like a monster, bro.
Mad Max,
bro. So,
I agree with you with the Daniel Carlson, too, the kicker. That. I agree with the kicker part of that, too.
Kicker for sure,
Carlson's really good.
He's got and they're playing in a nice warm dome, area. So, yes. You take the whack-ass hardball Chargers.
Yeah, we'll do the questionable Chargers now. So Justin Herbert is injured, so he's had on and off injuries. So he looks like he'll play. So I don't think that's an issue. Hopefully for them, it's nothing serious because Stick looked like dog crap during the preseason. So Herbert, I'm actually going to sit Herbert. Until
I agree
what Harbaugh is going to do in this offense, and until again, he's got a lingering leg foot injury. Until that kind of works itself out, I don't trust Herbert at all. So then from there you go to J.K. Dobbins. I don't know if I trust J.K. You got between that backfield, you got J.K., Gus Edwards, Kamani Vidal. They could run a 3-headed backfield.
Dude, those are just like the old Ravens that all got hurt at the same time. Yeah. I have no faith.
I know they just followed each other to a different team. That's all they did.
Yeah.
And then on the wide receivers scare me as hell. Like Lad McConkey, he's the only one I would actually consider. But even him, he's had injury issues during the preseason. Joshua Palmer, maybe if you're absolutely desperate. But those are wide receiver 3s to me until they can prove otherwise. I would honestly avoid this whole entire Chargers if you can. which I didn't actually draft and redraft. I didn't draft any of these. I stayed away from the Chargers completely because nobody knows what they're going to be under Harbaugh. And until you see it, I'm not going to trust it. So I'm staying away from all of them.
Yeah. So
who do you got?
Vegas, bro.
Vegas. I agree.
Awesome. Now we got the Sea Chickens versus the Broncos.
Sea Chickens. Who do you want?
So
pick it and rip it.
All right, I'll take Seattle. Not starting Geno. DK start.
Got to start DK.
JSN you could start in the flex. I can see because Lockett's kind of hurt, so I could see JSN taking over that second spot really sooner than later. If you want to hold out a week, you could. If not on the flex, but you should have better wide receivers than him anyway because where you drafted him. Hopefully for your sake. And you can probably take Seattle's defense against a shitty ass Denver because I don't see Denver doing too much with that rookie over there.
So I just breaking news. So Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase now has an illness added to the injury report for Sunday.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he not feel good for this game? So there you go. It's just gonna screw me in my other league.
So Jamar Chase looks like he may not play. I had to jump in because we're
you're
hot on the takes. So
here we go. There goes the season already. Gotta be. Of course. Baltimore
it's because of your hat. It's because of your hat. That's the reason why. Because your hat's fucking crooked. Your hat's like fucking crooked.
Fucking goddamn made in China shit. They fucking came and put my shit straight. Looked like horrible. So
let's keep going.
Seattle. Like I said, the wide receivers you start. I wouldn't start Lockett. I have no confidence.
No,
I think Lockett
he's getting a year older too. He did not do. He's like a wide receiver 20 something or 30 last year.
So let's go with JSN flex play. I wouldn't start him. DK, yes. The running back scenario. So I wouldn't Charbonnet. I'm not starting, but Walker I am. I would start Walker. Sure. And then Geno, no. And the defense, yes. And the kicker of Seattle is pretty solid too.
Yes. If you Myers, yep. All right, going on to Denver, man. So all that I got for Denver, make this quick. Javonte Williams start. Wide receivers, absolutely hell no. Nope. Quarterback, no. And then they don't really have anybody who's worth the tight end position, so I'm going to say no there. I would keep an eye on Greg Dulcich. He came out and was supposed to be a pretty good, but keep an eye on. This is like flag him. We've been talking about him for the past couple of years. See what he does in this offense. Maybe with a rookie quarterback, that might be a safety valve. But I think the only one to really talk about is Javonte Williams, and I firmly believe Javonte Williams will do really well. So keep him, and then everybody else, sit. That's what I got.
Yep. So we're both taking Seattle. Great news. Next,
100%. Next.
Now this is where we're going to have a divide.
We're too similar.
Dude, we got 4 games left, and they're going to break up.
Let's roll.
All right,
we're going to break up.
So who are you taking? Who do you want? Quick.
I'll talk about the Browns.
Got it. Go.
So why don't you do Dallas? Why don't you do Dallas first, and I'll do the Browns.
Okay. Dak, you're starting the monster usually all the time in the regular season. Dallas is definitely the defense. You're starting the defense, 1,000,000,000% top 3 defense. Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not starting. Rico Dow, not starting. CeeDee Lamb, I am starting. And so it'd be Dak, the defense, and CD are my 3. Not even the
Ferguson. Not even the Ferguson?
No, I'm not. I don't. Dude, I'm telling you. I mean, he's going to eventually get ties, but I got to see what's going on there first. I want to see how this plays out week 1.
I think the only difference that I have is that I would probably start Ferguson feeling comfortable with that because he did well last year in this offense, and not much has changed since last year. But
I think there's other tight ends you could
that's
use.
Fair. No, that's fair.
That's fair. But if you need them, start them. I'm not saying no. You got the better team here anyway, so go ahead, take Cleveland.
I mean, I don't know if it's that much better, dude. I mean, you got Jerome Ford, so Cleveland Browns. So starting Jerome Ford, smash. Amari Cooper starting, smash. And then Jerry Jeudy, I'd put him as like a flex, to see what he does in this new offense.
If you need him.
If you need, if you absolutely need him. David Njoku, I'd start. So good there on the tight end position. And then after that, defense. I would actually start the defense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is Dallas, but they could easily get a couple of sacks. They could they could maybe get an interception or fumble recovery. So that defense is brutal. I definitely start the defense.
Leading that charge all the time. He's gonna be head hunting Dak all day tomorrow, bro.
Hell yeah! Who you got, man?
Oh man, you put him on the spot. I'm going Cleveland.
Oh, you mother! Cleveland.
Are you really?
I think it's
I thought you were gonna take Dallas, bro.
That's why I said mother. No, I'm literally saying Cleveland because of the fact of it's in Cleveland. I think the defense is what's going to rule. I think they're going to flush their deck so much. CeeDee Lamb, you got to remember he's sat out most of the offseason, so
Yeah.
Not saying he's going to be on a pitch count or anything, but like he just may not be up to game time speed. It may take him a game or two, or he may look a little rusty. And that's what I was saying too
with Zeke, dude. Zeke's an old man, dude. I don't see him.
You're going to see him using the air
mask. He's been getting oxygen all the time.
Taking oxygen.
That's what I'm saying. That Rico might be getting time.
Oh,
that's
100%.
To see how this goes. So
I 100% agree.
We got 3 games left, Matt. You can pick the next one. Go for it.
So the Washington Commanders at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will take the Commanders. I'll take the shittier of the two team. And then I'll let you kind of take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But as we start at the Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, you are starting. I think, why not, dude? His upside is there. I think it's worth starting to see where it goes. Brian Robinson, I would do as a running back 3 or a flex. I could see that. Eckler, I'm going to stay away from until I see how he's utilizing this offense. And then from the wide receivers, I actually don't feel comfortable with any of these wide receivers.
Not even McLaurin? Scary Terry?
I could see McLaurin.
If you need him.
As like a wide receiver, I guess 2 or 3.
Flex
fine. I was going to say him, and then I actually was looking at it too, and Diamond Brown, who actually did really well. He had that bomb during the preseason. I could see him as maybe a flex as well. But McLaurin, yes. I've completely blanked on that one. So, but he is the only one. And then Ben Sinnott is a watch, because that dude was drafted in the second round. For a tight end to be drafted in the second round, I think he was in the 52nd or 53rd pick of the NFL draft. Obviously, Zach Ertz is going to be the currently starting tight end, but they like Ben Sinnott a lot. They've actually talked a lot about him during the preseason and what he's been showing out, coming out of Kansas State. So I think this dude is going to be, it's going to be awesome, dude. So keep an eye on Ben Sinnott.
Okay. Tampa.
Passing on to you, Pat.
Baker, no. Mike Evans, absolutely yes. He's going to get another 1,000 yards.
Yeah. Don't ever doubt Mike Evans. Don't ever doubt Mike Evans.
Godwin, you can start. That tight end Otto is a sit. The defense, no. The kicker's pretty solid, and I'm gonna say that's it. Oh, and a running back. Oh my God, I'm blanking out. White, right?
Oh, Rashid White. Yeah, Rashid
White. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta start him. Yep, you gotta start him.
Yeah. So those are my picks for the start. I'm gonna take the Commanders for the upset.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay. All right, you gotta mark that one down because that is different. It's at Tampa Bay. I could see what you're saying, like by all means with Jaden Daniels, like him just being like YOLO and he just finds a way to win it.
That's what I'm saying. I just want to see some. I gotta switch it up, man. I could have went with the.
I love it, bro. I love it. All right, 2 more to go. LA Rams at the Detroit Lions. Pat, why don't you do the Detroit Lions?
Okay. Jared Goff, you will start. I don't see him starting in many leagues, but if you need him, sure. He's solid. Yep. He's good, old, reliable. St. Brown, no brainer. You picked him probably 4 overall. You're going to take him and start him. I'm starting both running backs. I would start Monty and Gibbs because I don't know how it's going to exactly look this year, and they're both solid.
No, it's fair. They both did well last year too.
I'm starting both in one league. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not. One's in my flex and one's my other running back, so I don't care. I'm starting both because they're both projected pretty solid. And I don't think the Rams defense is that great anyway against the run this year, so I think it's pretty good. Who am I missing? I think that's it. The kicker, also for Detroit, is solid. I forgot his damn name.
You did wide receivers? Did you do wide receiver room? Sorry.
Well, I said St. Brown is really the number one I would put in. I mean, there's no one else I'm really in love with over there. Is it Williams still there too?
Yeah, Jameson
I
Williams.
guess you can use him. I mean, it's not a solid start. There's a lot of other options I would take. And Laporta, duh. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna start Laporta. He's healthy. I believe there's no issues. A big question mark, but he is have to start. So there you go.
So this game has the highest total over under at 52.5 for the whole entire week. So we're gonna hear a lot of starts on this one. So Matt Stafford, I would actually sit. I feel like there's probably other quarterbacks that should have. Kyron Williams, definitely start. No doubt.
Start.
Puka Cup. Puka Cup.
That's great. You start Puka Cup. That's exactly what you're going to start.
Cooper Cup. Start. Puka Nakua. Start. Everybody else, no. I will say no.
No defense. You could kick a kicker.
No defense.
You really need one. Why
and
not?
Then tight ends is like, no, they don't really have any tight ends either. So
Laporte is the only tight end you can start.
Yeah, in this game. Yep. So, but again, 52.5. This is the highest scoring over under. So both teams are projected to score a lot of points. So again, anybody that's relevant, you start them. This is the time to do it.
This is tough. Detroit. I wrote it down.
Detroit.
I think you're.
I got to pick Detroit too. Yeah.
So did I.
Okay. Last game, Monday Night Football.
We might divide.
Monday Night Football. We're at an hour and 20 minutes, so we'll do this quick. New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. The return of the douchebag himself, Aaron Rodgers.
The hate is real. I love it so much.
That was just on the fly. That was on the fly, guys. Just saying that.
Yeah.
But he is a douchebag.
It came out so natural. You pick. Pat, I'm going to give you the douchebag Jets because you love them so much.
No, I'm going to give you the Jets because you live closer to it.
All right.
That's only fair. You know more about what's going on than I do over there.
Okay, so Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people, I do see him starting because I think they have like faith in him. Plus, there are a lot of homers around my area. So Rodgers, by choice, you can start him. Garrett Wilson, 1,000,000,000% starting him. I am. Breece Hall, you're starting him. Conklin, the tight end, I am not starting. The defense, you're 1,000,000,000% starting. And the Jets kicker, you can probably start also. So there's my people.
Okay.
Simple.
San Francisco 49ers, CMC starting. Why are you even asking the question? Ayuk, yes, sir. I will start Ayuk. Deebo Samuels as a start and Kittle as a start until Kittle gets injured. He will always be a start for me, which could be in this game. You never know. Could be week 1. Brock Purdy is really the only one that I'm worried about. I have him as I always will never underestimate Brock Purdy. Last year, I think he finished as a quarterback 6 or 7. I have to look it up in sleeper, but he's always up there. I would say you could start him as a low end quarterback 1 if you don't have any other options, but he'd probably be the only one that I would consider sitting if you have a better option. But if you don't, Brock Purdy, I still think will be reliable, and you can start him. San Francisco defense, I would say start as well. Just because,
dude, they're both
it's
Jets
old,
top 3 defense.
Yeah, old man quarterback. All he's got to do is fall back one more time and get hit too hard and break his ego, and you never know. Maybe he'll never be back in
see, the same
guy
that sacked his ass last year, tore his shit, will be facing him anyway the same way. So I'm excited. Who are you picking?
San Francisco 49ers.
I'm going to take the Jets.
Okay. I don't think it's gonna be a close game. Actually, I think
San Francisco. I'm actually really.
I think it's gonna be a great game, but I think the San Francisco 49ers will pull away at the end.
I think Purdy gets the interception on the last drive and that. No.
This actually has a very low over-under, probably as a defense. It's only at 43.5.
Defense. Both defenses are going to be playing out their heart. So, that completes that. I have us tallied up. We have a couple of switches in this. So, weekly totals we put there. Matt, I think this is a great show. I hope everyone listens to our advice. Like I said,
the like,
take it with
subscribe.
A grain of salt both way. Yeah, please.
Hit all the buttons below. Please follow us at South Harmon as well. Follow South Harmon's feed so you can get our all-in podcast that we do, the audio podcast that we do every week with them. We'll be dropping it again next Wednesday. Comes out every Wednesday.
Check out Elite Fantasy Nation on Instagram, please. Check it out.
Yes, also. Sir. Pat's doing stuff on that. I'm going to try to get him to do shorts when we start to use the new platform that we're going to do on. We'll do it together. We'll learn together because I don't even know how to do them. But
that's all right. We're going to be in the process with our new format coming out. They'll be probably even better than what you see right now.
Hell yeah. You got anything else, brother?
Angles.
Go Bears. Peace. We're out.